ever have that feeling.
Yeah.
You're watching a movie, totally glued to the screen, and suddenly, bam, it hits you. This isn't just a story. It's like a secret code about filmmaking itself.
Whoa.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today, folks. Films that are secretly reflections of their own creation. And let me tell you, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Like looking into a mirror, that's reflecting another mirror. It's these like infinite reflections. Makes you wonder what's real,
Right.
what's imagined.
Okay, so let's break this down with a classic example, Inception.
Yep.
I mean, the dreams, those layers, the whole idea of planting an idea in someone's mind.
Yeah.
Turns out it's not just like a cool sci-fi concept.
It's a metaphor.
It's a spot-on metaphor for how movies work, too.
Exactly. And this article, it breaks it down beautifully. Like, take Cobb, dream architect extraordinaire. He's not just, walking through a dream. He's shaping it. Like, the whole fabric of reality in that dream. Sound familiar? That's a director.
Yeah.
Every camera angle, the rhythm of the edit. They create a world for us to get lost in.
It's like when Cobb talks about architecting a dream. He's basically talking about building a set, right?
Yes.
Establishing the rules of this world. It's like watching a behind-the-scenes documentary, but disguised as a heist thriller.
Exactly.
And then you've got Ariadne, the new recruit, fresh perspective.
The newbie.
She's like the screenwriter,
Yeah.
dreaming up the characters, their world, the emotional beats.
The things that hit you right here in the field.
Yeah.
And what I find so fascinating is how her learning curve, it's like ours. As she figures out how to build a dream, we're figuring out the rules of this film. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It's like we're right there with her. Okay. And we can't forget about Eames. Master forger. Chameleon. Becomes anyone he wants.
Oh, he's the actor, obviously.
Yes.
Inhabiting those different roles, disappearing into a character.
Completely.
But it's not just about looks,
Right.
It's knowing what makes the character tick.
Their desires.
Motivations.
Okay, now for the mind-blowing part. Robert Fisher, the Mark, the guy whose mind they're trying to, incept.
Incept. I love that word.
This article makes this wild claim that he represents, wait for it, the audience.
Wow.
The audience.
That is brilliant.
Right.
Think about it. Cobb's team, they're planting an idea in Fisher's subconscious, hoping it'll change him, his thinking, his actions. It's like that feeling you get after a great movie. You walk out of the theater and that idea, that emotion, it sticks with you.
Totally. It's what every storyteller wants, right? That connection to leave you thinking.
For sure.
But, Inception, just one example, one tiny layer in this whole world of metafiction. We've got this list, a whole bunch of films
Yeah.
that use the self-aware thing. And they're all over the map. Classics, indie flicks, you name it.
Okay, so where do we even start? Which ones should we add to our watch list? Like right now.
Well, if you want to see the creative process, like laid bare, you got to watch 8.5. Fellini, classic director.
Okay.
Imagine you're this huge director at the top of your game, but you're creatively about empty.
Oh, no.
And the pressure's on, that's 8.5. It's this wild mix of reality and fantasy and pure artistic angst.
I don't know if I relate to being a famous director, but
Yeah.
I get the angst part.
Oh, totally. We've all been there. It's about feeling lost, unsure, like you're chasing something you can't quite grasp. Plus, Fellini, he uses these incredible dream sequences, blurring into reality, like the filmmaking process itself, right? Messy, exciting, kind of maddening sometimes.
I'm adding it to my list. What else?
How about a movie about a screenwriter trying to adapt a book
Okay.
about a screenwriter trying to adapt a book?
Whoa, so meta.
Right. Adaptation. Nicolas Cage takes this whole self-reflection thing to a whole new level. Funny, frustrating.
Yeah.
You ever feel stuck in your own head when you're working on something?
All the time.
This film gets it.
I'm scared to watch it now.
Oh, it's a trip. But good art. It should challenge you a little. Makes you think.
True.
It takes these like raw emotions, these relatable experiences, and turns them into something profound.
I like that.
Maybe it'll even make you see your own struggles differently.
Okay, you convinced me. Adaptation, it is. Now, last one. Hit me with something completely different, something a little less, deep, more. Hollywood.
Ah, you want the gossip.
The dirt, the behind-the-scenes drama.
The Player, then. It's perfect.
What's it about?
It's a satire, exposes all the craziness of Hollywood, greedy execs,
Of course.
cynical writers.
Sure.
But it's also about this constant battle between art and money, vision and box office success.
Always relevant, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we always want to know what goes on behind closed doors in Hollywood, even if
No.
it's exaggerated.
Oh, The Player does not hold back.
I like it.
It's sharp. It's cynical. Makes you think twice about the compromises people make for their art.
Interesting.
But it doesn't just criticize. It actually celebrates storytelling. Even in a cutthroat place like Hollywood, a good story, it can still break through.
It's kind of what we were saying before about Inception.
Yeah.
It's not the effects, the big stars. It's that core idea that resonates, makes you think afterwards.
Yes.
Okay, so we've gone deep into dreams, dealt with writer's block, and gotten a glimpse of Hollywood's underbelly.
Oh, quite a journey.
What's the takeaway? Why does this even matter? This whole movies about movies thing?
That's the question, right? I think when you recognize these layers, it's like you get this backstage pass.
It's a creative process.
Exactly. Like the film's letting you in on a secret.
I like that.
It's not just about the story anymore. It's the craft, the choices the filmmakers made, all the hard work. You see it all.
It's like we're learning a new language, the language of film. It makes you wonder, right? Is film the only one that does this whole self-reflection thing? Do novelists write about writer's block? Do painters paint about painting?
Those are some deep dive worthy questions. It's like this whole idea of art reflecting on itself. Maybe it's more common than we think. Like it's built into creating in general.
So If films can be metaphors for filmmaking, what about all art? Is it all a reflection of that process, that creative journey? Something to think about the next time you watch a movie, listen to an album, whatever moves you.
Maybe if we try to understand that journey, the one behind the art, it'll connect with us more, see the vulnerability there, the triumph.
It's like that moment you realize every color, every word, every note, it's all connected to this human need to create, to share a view of the world. And on that note, that wraps up our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us as always as we explored these films about filmmaking. See you next time. We'll dive into something new.